The night was cold, drenched in heavy rain, and silent, except for the distant echo of police sirens. Outside the walls of Blackridge Prison, a shadow moved carefully through the darkness. His name was Ethan Hale, but to the world, he wasn't Ethan anymore. He was known as only one thing: the dangerous convict who escaped Blackridge. News channels called him a monster. People whispered stories of murder and violence, but none of them knew the truth. Because Ethan Hale was never a criminal. He had once lived a peaceful life in a quiet town outside London. He owned a small bookshop.
Tell me what you know!
Cared for his elderly
Get
mother.
off me! Not until you
Engaged
talk!
to the love of
You're
his
making a
life, Sophie
mistake!
Bennett. Everything was normal, until the night everything was stolen from him. A powerful politician's son,
You're not leaving
Damien
until
Crowe,
you
was
talk.
found dead in an
I
alleyway.
won't tell you anything.
The city
we'll see
erupted.
about that.
The police were under pressure. The media demanded an arrest. The public wanted justice. And within 48 hours, they found a scapegoat, Ethan. A false witness claimed, "I saw him near the scene." Evidence was planted. CCTV footage was manipulated. And the inspector leading the case, Detective
Ethan, I was so scared
Marcus
I'd lost
Vaughn,
you.
didn't even hide his
I'm
smile.
here now, Sophie. I'm not
In
going
court,
anywhere.
Ethan screamed,
Promise me.
"I didn't do this. I'm innocent." But nobody listened. The judge's hammer fell like a gunshot. Ethan Hale, sentenced to life imprisonment. Blackridge Prison wasn't just a prison. It was hell wrapped in concrete. On Ethan's very first night, inmates attacked him. Guards looked away. He
You
was
think I
beaten,
wouldn't find out,
humiliated,
Lucas?
broken.
Ethan,
Weeks
it's
later,
not what you
Detective Vaughn
think.
visited
Don't
his
lie to
cell.
me.
He leaned down and whispered, "This isn't about truth, Ethan. It's about power. Men like you don't matter." That was the moment Ethan died, and something darker was born. Years passed. Ethan's mother died without ever seeing him free. Sophie waited, until the world convinced her he was guilty. She disappeared from his life forever. Ethan became hollow. But inside that hollow soul, a fire burned. One night, a riot erupted in Blackridge. Flames rose.
I have to tell you the
Alarms
truth.
screamed.
We've been hiding this for too
Prison
long.
doors burst
The constitutor is here, and
In
we
the
must
chaos,
act now.
Ethan made his choice. He climbed. He ran. He bled. And he escaped. Now he was free. But in the eyes of the world, he was still the villain. And Ethan? He wasn't running anymore. He stood under the rain, staring at the city lights. His voice was cold as steel. "They destroyed my life. Now I will destroy theirs." And that night, revenge began. Ethan didn't go far after escaping. He knew the police would search every highway, every station, every airport. So he hid where no one would look, in the forgotten parts of the city. An abandoned warehouse near the Thames became his shelter. Cold, silent, empty. But Ethan wasn't afraid of emptiness anymore. He had lived with it for years. Now he had only one purpose: justice, or something far darker. The first name on his list was obvious: Detective Marcus Vaughn, the man who framed him. The man who smiled while Ethan's life crumbled. Ethan watched Vaughn for days. He learned his habits. Every morning, coffee at the same cafe. Every evening, a private club in Westminster. Marcus Vaughn lived like a hero. The public praised him for putting a murderer behind bars. Ethan clenched his fists. On the fourth night, Ethan made his move. Vaughn stepped out of the club, laughing with friends. A car pulled up beside him. Before Vaughn could react, a hood was thrown over his head. He was dragged inside. When he woke up, he was tied to a chair. A single light hung above him. The room smelled of dust and rain. Vaughn struggled violently. "Who is this?" he shouted. Then a voice came from the darkness. "Do you remember me, detective?" Vaughn froze. Ethan stepped forward. His face was thinner, his eyes colder, but unforgettable. Vaughn's mouth went dry. "No, you're dead." Ethan laughed softly. "You buried me alive in Blackridge." Vaughn tried to speak, tried to bargain. "Ethan, listen. I was following orders. It wasn't personal." Ethan leaned closer. "It was my life." Vaughn swallowed hard. "You don't understand. Crowe's family, they needed someone to blame." Ethan's eyes sharpened. "Damien Crowe wasn't killed by me." Vaughn hesitated, then whispered, "No." The silence that followed was deadly. Ethan's voice became a hiss. "Say his name." Vaughn trembled. The real murderer was Lucas Graves. Ethan's heart stopped for a second. Lucas Graves. A rich businessman, untouchable, protected. Ethan stepped back. All these years, the truth had been sitting behind money and power. Vaughn cried out, "Let me go! I'll help you. I'll tell the court." Ethan stared at him. "You had that chance 8 years ago." Then Ethan bent down and whispered, "This isn't the end, detective. It's the beginning." Ethan left Vaughn alive, but not unharmed. The next morning, Marcus Vaughn was found outside the police headquarters, bound, beaten, with 3 words carved into the wall beside him. "Innocent men bleed." The city panicked. The escaped convict wasn't running. He was hunting. News spread like wildfire. Black Ridge's escaped prisoner was no longer just a fugitive. He was a message. Every newspaper screamed, "Ethan Hale strikes again." But Ethan didn't care about headlines. He cared about one name, Lucas Graves, the man who truly killed Damian Crowe, the man who walked free while Ethan rotted in prison. Ethan knew Lucas wasn't easy to reach. Graves had bodyguards, cameras, wealth, and influence, so Ethan needed someone on the inside. And there was only one person left, Sophie Bennett, the woman Ethan once loved. He found her after days of searching. She worked at a small medical clinic in East London. When Ethan saw her through the window, for the first time in years his chest tightened. She looked older, tired, haunted. Ethan waited until night. When Sophie stepped outside, Ethan spoke softly. "Sophie." She froze, turned slowly. Her eyes widened as if she'd seen a ghost. "Ethan." Her voice broke. "You're alive?" Ethan nodded. "I never stopped being alive. Just buried." Tears filled her eyes. "They told me you murdered him." Ethan stepped closer. "They lied." Sophie shook her head, trembling. "Why are you here?" Ethan's voice darkened. "I need the truth. And I need Graves." Sophie's face went pale. "You know about him," Ethan whispered. "I know everything now." Sophie hesitated, then spoke. "Lucas Graves was Damian's business partner. They fought that night. Damian threatened to expose him. Ethan clenched his jaw, and Graves killed him." Sophie nodded. "But the Crowe family covered it up. They needed someone else to take the fall." Ethan's fists shook. "All those years?" Sophie grabbed his arm. "Ethan, please. Don't do this. Revenge will destroy what's left of you." Ethan looked into her eyes. "They already destroyed me." That same night, Ethan broke into Graves's mansion. Security was tight, but Ethan was smarter now, harder. He moved like a shadow, silent and sharp. Finally, he reached Lucas Graves's private office. Graves sat calmly, drinking whiskey, unaware of death standing behind him. Ethan spoke. "Enjoying your freedom?" Graves turned, startled. "What the hell?" Then he saw Ethan's face. His eyes widened. "You," Ethan smiled. "The man you buried." Graves stood quickly. "You shouldn't be here." Ethan stepped forward. "You stole my life. My family, my future." Graves sneered. "You were nothing. Just convenient." That word, convenient. Ethan's rage exploded, but before he could strike, police sirens screamed outside. "Sophie." She had called them. Ethan froze. Graves laughed. "You'll be back in prison by morning." Ethan stared at Sophie's betrayal from the window, then whispered, "No, not this time," and he vanished into the night. The final game had begun. Ethan was now the most wanted man in the UK. Helicopters circled the skies. Police flooded the streets. But Ethan had nothing left to lose. Only one final mission remained. Expose Lucas Graves, destroy the Crowe Empire and clear his name, or die trying. He knew he couldn't fight them alone. So Ethan did something no one expected. He surrendered, but not to the police. To the media. One morning, every major news station received the same email. A live broadcast invitation at exactly 9 p.m. The entire country watched. The screen turned black, then Ethan Hale appeared. Face uncovered, voice calm. "I am not a murderer," he began. "I am a victim." Gasps filled studios. Ethan continued. 8 years ago, Lucas Graves killed Damian Crowe. The Crowe family framed me to protect their wealth. Detective Vaughn, watching from a hospital bed, whispered, "He's doing it." Ethan held up documents, confessions, proof, evidence stolen from Graves's office, and then tonight, the truth ends. Suddenly, the broadcast cut. Police stormed a warehouse. Ethan was there. But so was Lucas Graves. Graves shouted, You think people will believe you? Ethan stepped forward. They will, because you're going to confess. Graves laughed. I will never. Then Sophie entered, holding a recorder, her hands shaking. I'm sorry, Ethan. Ethan stared. Sophie spoke to Graves. I heard everything. I recorded your meeting. Your confession is already sent to the police. Graves' face twisted. You traitor. He pulled a gun. In seconds, a shot fired. Sophie screamed. Ethan lunged. They struggled. Another shot. Silence. Lucas Graves fell, dead. Police burst in. Ethan stood over the body, bleeding. Sophie collapsed, wounded but alive. Detective Vaughn arrived, staring at Ethan. For the first time, he looked ashamed the next day. The truth exploded across Britain. Headlines changed. Ethan Hale innocent. Lucas Graves exposed. The Crow family arrested. The system shaken. Weeks later, Ethan sat outside the courthouse, free but not whole. Sophie sat beside him. You got your life back, she whispered. Ethan looked ahead. No. I got the truth. He stood slowly, but some scars never leave. As Ethan walked away, the world watched a man who was once called a monster, now known as something else, a survivor, a warning, and a legend born from betrayal.